time and affection. Baristas mix caffeine with tales of deception. Lawyers joke and shadows plot their redemption. Case files like popcorn scatter on the floor. Jury's out in line, folks begging for more. Quirky loopholes twist through every door. Paparazzi flash for the courtroom encore. Legal shenanigans theater, baby, where justice lasts. Crime and humor dance, baby, a curious path. Grab your ticket, honey, let the gavel smash. In the flood of laughter, see the road splash. Scoundrels with a smile, defense on their lips.
Welcome back to Legal Shenanigans Theater, and this is the long Toot Goodnight. Even though that's my husband's, he always asks me what I'm over here giggling about, and I'm like, I'm making up really inappropriate titles to things.
Which is sad because I love that movie, A Long Kiss Goodnight.
I know, I love Gina Davis. Thank you, Wolfram, for doing the mod things, and Christine, welcome. Welcome, Brenda, and Jung, and Farm Sim, and JKD Bug. Welcome. We are finishing up with, I have to say, this woman is the most scary, creepy monster that, and we've done Stephanie Lazarus.
Halderson.
But this Halderson, but this chick creeps me out more than anyone that has been on our program.
Yeah, she's definitely up there in the crazy area. Because, like, I've seen, like, people, like, some of the Ted Bundy, like, not interviews, but like his media stuff,
yeah.
and like some of the other like really well known like serial peoples and stuff. And
yeah,
this lady is very much like that, if not
she has
a little scarier.
Well, because she's not the one you would pick out. I mean, I would
Yeah.
have obviously profiled Bundy because he had a unibrow, and every time I see a show is like, well, he was good looking. I'm like, no, he had a unibrow.
Yeah, or it's like the guy who has that one channel that I was telling you about, who
Oh yeah,
he calls them the Manson eyes.
yes,
Yes, the
Manson
lamps. There you go. Yeah, Manson lamps. And it's like, yeah, it's just creepy, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she just scares me because I know I've met nurses, and now I'm like, wait a minute, do you get a happy special feeling when you might have to dose someone with something? Look, it's a real question, ma'am. No, I'm not. No, I don't need to do a psych evaluation. I have a very logical and real reason for asking you this.
Yeah, well, I don't think we've got to that part yet.
Well, yeah, but I'm just now every time I look at a nurse, I'm gonna be like, okay, alrighty, let's
Yeah.
check out what my bodyology degree says to me.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, we need to get the old
He is
humidifier
moving.
check on the nurse.
He is moving closer to the blast radius.
He is, and he's gonna need to evacuate, as they taught us in school, to get under your desk and just like, in case of a nuclear event, which he's going to experience shortly.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna help. I mean, I guess that's the moral of the story here.
Well, is methane lighter than air or denser? Because if you get closer to the floor, if it's a lighter than, natural air, room temperature or whatever science-y thing, then he can go on the bottom like smoke or something.
I mean, whether it's denser or lighter than air, I think in some cases just doesn't matter.
True.
because
Yeah. Ooh,
because
there have.
there are some room clearing things that have been done. It's like it doesn't matter. Just
No.
evacuate.
Oh, for heaven's
And
sake.
I did that to her on more than one occasion.
Okay.
Albino
And
was,
sorry, she was prior to Mr. Silcox, right?
yes,
So this was the very first person you
Yeah.
injected with insulin?
yes,
Okay, and we're at Crescent Care,
at Crescent Care.
and her room was where?
Her room was in the east wing, second door on the left. And then,
Third star on the right, straight on till morning.
Yeah.
If you do want to see a, well rationed, very logical, not at all humorous take on this interrogation in case, Dreading actually has one because I was re listening to it on the drive home yesterday. So if you do like, maybe not poking fun at people, I've heard tell people like that, you can definitely go
Yes.
there. I would recommend him. And he has a mellow voice, so
I
works
highly
out.
recommend Dreading. Yes.
And it's very well researched, and he's very, very good about things and very, empathetic. As much as I hate that word, he is. But he's a real
Yes.
one because he didn't tell you he was.
Yes. He's done a lot of great work on a lot of different cases. I think one of my favorites actually is Anthony Toot
Oh, yes.
and the Broderick lady who
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
That was my first Lifetime two-parter.
Yeah.
A woman scorned and hell hath no fury, the Freddie Broderick case.
Yeah. I
I was
think
very proud of me.
I re-listened to that. I think it was yesterday, actually. Yeah, that lady nuts.
Yeah.
But
That's why you need to check and make sure it's 665 before you get married.
yeah, well, I bet I bet the difference. I bet that lady, despite how crazy she is, I bet she didn't fart on anybody.
True. She wouldn't have been so aggressive.
Yeah.
the east wing, first door on the left was your sister Albina. She was diabetic.
Okay.
She was October 2007.
Sorry, that was her sister?
Matilda and Albina were.
So this is a sad case right here. She is talking about the first two people that she did try to inject with an overdose of insulin, and they were actually a sister and sister-in-law. So they were sister-in-laws, but they just called each other sisters. And she tried with one of them, it didn't work, and then she kept trying with her, and then she went on to the other sister-in-law too. So it was just, she's so matter of fact and she's so cold about it. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't. And how are you binging hydromorphine, possibly losing track of time, but you can remember everyone you unalived up to like the 14s and what happened during that moment? I mean, okay.
It's a very common thing among these types of peoples, to where they like try to plea that they don't remember, or
Oh,
something
yeah.
was so tragic or whatever, and it's like, but you can remember like mundane details about the most random crap, but you can't remember like something, anything that's negative towards you. You can't
Well,
remember
I
any
mean,
of that.
yeah, it really is interesting, but she did state one place, and it might have been when I was just on my tangent. She did state that, she got a real happy feeling. It was a rush every time she did it, which
Yeah.
could have explained why she did it a lot, and maybe that was infrequent for her. So she just, when she had a happy time, she remembered it.
Yeah, and ladies, she's referring to that happy time. So
Yeah. Yeah.
So have fun with that. I hope you guys sleep well
Make of
tonight.
make of that what you will, active imaginations.
It's nightmare
Yeah.
fuel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Then there was Wayne. He was on the North Wing. He had dementia. He was diabetic. He could be uncooperative, and I gave him a large overdose because I thought it was his turn to go.
That was Wayne.
That was Wayne.
And sorry, how old was, sorry, and I hate to go back. I just have a few more questions. How old was Clotilda?
Clotilda was 90 or so.
Okay, and her sister?
Albina was probably 82.
You couldn't even get Albina's name right. I mean, you were almost there. Closed captions.
I mean, they can't get much right in closed captions. Come on.
Now, if you do go and systematically look at all of these people that she decided were, the next one to die or God's, latest, call home kind of person, they were all people that annoyed her, that required extra care, that were, when you are dealing with someone with dementia, I can imagine it is frightening, confusing, and scary to be at a place where you don't remember how you got there. You've got this chick squawking at you about, get up, I have to do your meds or something. I mean, she seems like she would be pleasant with other people she finds at her level, but if you are not at her level in any way, shape, or form, she will be a super thunder cow to you.
Yeah.
And I'm not making fun of her weight. I didn't say the C word. That's why I said cow.
Yeah, because I think she just said that he was being disagreeable.
Mm-hmm.
That the lady was being disagreeable, and it's like,
Yeah.
So that's all it takes. It's just be disagreeable, and you will find yourself on the short list.
Yeah, or Elizabeth's having a real stressful day and she needs to relieve stress.
Yeah. Or
some of us
she needs to have an
a happy time.
Yeah, I mean, because apparently that's how she does it.
Men, you haven't been confused for eons. It's actually something else that gets us excited.
Yes. Apparently, or at least some.
60-20, 40-80,
I mean, thankfully, I've never run into one of those. Thank God.
that you know of.
True. I'm going to go with I'm fairly certain on that one, but you never know, I guess.
Well, yeah.
And did they have family that would come and visit?
Yes. Yes. Very much so.
Who was happy that would come to visit?
Clotilda, I think it was her daughters, and Albina was her husband.
Okay. And long acting, short acting?
Short acting at that point.
7, you were still doing short acting. And do you remember the dose?
Oh,
what they did?
wait a second. What would they get at night? It was long acting.
Ghost Town.
Long acting?
Well, there's long acting and short acting glucose, and I know they do different things, and I'm not a doctorologist.
Okay.
But I think one is for an acute, like you realize, oh, I'm crashing or something, and you need something right then or there. And the other one is supposed to be like, oh, you're eating healthy and not eating like a, toddler in Willy Wonka. This, will keep you for normally calculated meal. I don't know.
Okay.
I think that's vaguely how that works.
I was confused because they were talking about long acting and tough acting, and I'm thinking like, oh, like tough acting to acting, like John Madden.
You're like none of you have athlete's foot.
Yeah, it's like because that's immediately what my brain went to is tough acting to acting with John Madden.
Don't you love how your brain does that? You're like, I am searching for a specific fact, and they're like, okay, we don't have that fact, but would you like to replay the entire Mentos commercial from the 1990s with the guy sitting on the bench with the wet paint?
Yes.
No,
Oh my
not
god.
really. Okay, but we're gonna put that on for you.
Yeah.
The truest thing about Inside Out is that double mint gum commercial. And you're like, what the damn it? I'm not even looking for you.
Yeah. It's the weird crap our brains do. But yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
And
thinking
so it
athlete's
was,
foot, and they're thinking
yeah,
diabetes.
pretty much. Well, at least we weren't thinking about the clap, so that works out
This
too.
is this is true. I mean, she is a thunder cow, so there's clapping of some kind.
Yeah, I still call absolutely X'd out with someone groped her boobs.
Yeah.
No,
I'm gonna go with no on that.
not even to win at Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah. Like, because if you're an old guy and you're like you're gonna make it worth it. Like if you're if you got one shot, you're gonna make it worth it. And
Oh my God. Now I've
no
got
offense,
Eminem going, you've got one
one,
shot,
yeah,
Leroy. Do not miss your chance for the candy striper. Not this one. Where's the cute one?
yeah. It's like if you're gonna make it worth it.
Yes. Welcome, Dan Davis. And she went after, that's the other thing, that she is so disgusting a person. Is she met these families, she would actively talk to the families, get to know about these people, get to know their backstories. And
Yeah,
she still did this because she would actually have to not go into work drunk or high. And it is a physically demanding job. I mean, a lot of seniors are fall risk and things like that. And it's horrifying. I mean, just
yeah,
horrifying.
for sure. It's
Yeah.
it's the getting to know the people though. That's the part that's and going and talking to the family
Yeah.
afterwards, like knowing that you're the one who actually caused their uh demise. That's yeah.
That's a level of Hannibal Lecter that I can't even get to.
Yeah. Well, it's
is what they got at night.
Well, yeah, it's gross.
Those two, it was their own insulin, just extra dose. So
In the beginning, possibly within
in the beginning, God created.
Insulin, both short and long lasting, with the help of Wilford Brimley.
Yes.
What do you guys remember with that?
no, no,
Alright, and Mike with Huntington's disease?
that was 2009.
What is that disease?
It robs you of your body and you still have your mind. You get progressively more agitated. You get progressively more
Progressively more
psychotic.
potatoes.
Well, she's speaking from reality. Look, that's a lot of tater tots being retained. Just that is a lot of tater tot casserole right there.
Yes. Or no, it would be poutine
Oh yeah.
because it's
I
north of the border.
Yeah. I'm just so happy Favre got to actually get a liter of cola finally.
I don't really even. I think isn't poutine just like French fries with gravy or something? Like I really don't know.
Gravy and cheese curds, I think. I could be
So
very wrong. Canada, don't come after me.
so it's like chili cheese fries, but without the chili and just the sauce, basically.
Yeah, I'm more of a side of ranch gal myself, but I mean, why choose that when you have cheddar bacon? I mean,
Yeah.
I
I
guess it's
mean,
an American thing.
I don't know. I mean, they could have used maple syrup. I'm sure that would be gross, but I mean, come on.
I'm
It's
sure
in
if we were
abundance.
from Montreal, they'd be like, "Oh, hoser or hoser, what you doing about here? I'm sorry, but our poutine over here is better."
Well, I think in Montreal they probably talk a little different because that's the Frenchy
Oh, true,
part. They're like the
true.
ha but
Mo irritates all ethnicities today.
but it's okay. It's the French.
True. Eh,
I think disease, disease.
That was 2009.
What is that disease?
It robs you of your body and you still have your mind. You get progressively more agitated. You get progressively.
This is what set us off, JKD Buck. You get progressively more potatoes, and we're gonna. And I made a kind of crass joke that she's retaining a lot of tater tots, so this makes sense. And then we got sidetracked on the poutine.
And then, of course, the French in Montreal.
Yes.
More psychotic, and you're in a wheelchair, and you've got all these movements that you can't control. It's a horrible disease.
And how old was Mike?
He was 54, and again, one night I just felt that searching, and I thought, now this must be God, because this man is not enjoying his life at all. So I gave him a large amount of insulin. I think I gave him 90 total.
Did he ever do anything to harm you?
No, never.
Okay. Also, did you ask him if he was okay with his life? I mean, he might be having his best life. He might be like, look, I worked all of my life. Yeah, I have to deal with Huntington's. It kind of sucks to be dealt with this. But I get to watch, Nick at Night all day on TV. Everyone else forgets I have the clicker. I'm right here. Like, I have my own room. I mean, did you ask the man, or did you just decide for him?
Yeah, like, are we talking like early Lieutenant Dan or later Lieutenant Dan? I mean, like, which one are we talking about?
You got new legs.
I mean, because there's stages to this.
Are we talking Michael J. Fox early or Michael J. Fox now? Like, where are we?
True.
Which Michael J. Fox are we at?
Yeah, it's that whole stages that you go through. It's like, sure,
Well,
I'm
yeah.
sure if you lost the use of your legs, at first I imagine that would be a terribly difficult thing to deal with, and you would probably hate your life. I get that. But over time, you will learn to adapt to it, or in some cases where people get the, different prosthetics and stuff where like they start walking again, and like it just takes time. And I know every situation is different. Like, don't get me wrong here. Like, I understand that there's variations of stuff, but it's to be able to make a crass statement like that like she's making the decision for somebody because she in her mind thinks that their life is miserable because they're in a wheelchair. Like, that
Yeah.
is some dark
That
stuff.
is also, I really don't. Lieutenant Dan invested in Apple right when Bill Gates all had his full that he was a genius. Lieutenant Dan has bionic legs right now.
Yeah,
He's got Neuralink. He's up in Mars.
yeah. Lieutenant Dan, he's fine.
Yeah. So the moral of the story is that Lieutenant Dan needs his own movie.
Yeah. Like, but you can also see like the progression of people and like the things that they've gone through, like in
Yeah.
the early stages, and as they've gotten older, and maybe like the different things that they may focus on and stuff, and like realize, like, because I'm pretty sure I've seen Michael J. Fox like
Yeah.
do like things trying to like help other people about like having disabilities and things like that.
Yeah. And
So
research. I mean,
yeah,
just because you have challenges, I mean, she's basically doing her own form of eugenics. Who gets
Yeah.
to live, who's worthy of her time and attention, and who's a, disagreeable person that asks too much and doesn't deserve the care that she is providing. I
Yeah.
mean, she's trying to church it up and God told me, but no, she's going out and she's picking the people that annoy her, and she can church it up however she wants. But
Yeah.
my guess is he had good days and he had bad days, just like, again, this you saw the ride and bought the ticket, ma'am. You went through nursing school and you chose to go to elderly palliative care. So
Yeah.
it's not like this was news to you. It's not like you went in for labor and delivery and suddenly got stuck with geriatrics.
Yeah. Which to me, actually, both ends of the spectrum for me, I think would be the most difficult to deal with. Young
Yeah.
kids and the elderly. Because young kids are innocent and like they don't understand what's going on. So it would be rather difficult to deal with sickness and problems that they have. But it's the same with the elderly because they're at the
Well,
end of their lives.
you're
So,
dealing with two populations that might not be able to articulate why they're upset, and their agitation can be roughly from the same things: confusion, hunger, discomfort. But you're dealing with two types of two populations at the different ends of the spectrum that can't tell you what's wrong,
yeah.
and and learning how to navigate those with de-escalation. And look, I couldn't do it, but I didn't sign up to be a geriatrics nurse.
Yeah. Yeah. Me neither. I did not.
So yeah, this poor me, I don't know why God had let this happen, is a bit off-putting.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's just the way she talks about it is just the part I think is that's so disturbing is that like she's making these decisions for people and assuming that their life is miserable. I mean, as I understand it, like nursing homes are kind of like sex dens. So maybe the dude was having a blast. I mean, who knows? I mean, it's like
It's all the villages here. Upside
exactly. I
down
mean,
pineapples and parties.
exactly. I mean, who knows?
Yeah, and it's again the wrapper that you would it she come this monster comes in the outer covering of a person you wouldn't expect. She has a very mild voice. That's the scariness to me, as I could see any other nurse maybe being similar, running into her at a hospital and thinking, "Can I leave my loved one with you?"
Yeah, exactly.
That's the
Wayne,
No,
Albina,
no,
Matilda.
no.
This takes us to a different location, Telford Place in Paris. That's obviously Paris, Ontario, correct?
Yeah,
Outside of Brantford, Woodstock area.
2016 winter.
Okay, and that was Sandra.
Yeah, and I
How old
was
was Sandra?
Sandra. I think she was in her 70s.
And
most nurses I know are great, wonderful people. It's finding that one good and plenty in all of the milk duds.
Yeah,
That's what I worry about, because I know that most people that pick nursing are compassionate and work hard. And I've only yelled at one nurse, and I apologized to her. But honest to God, why you would send a student nurse to a woman who's had 4 other children, I don't know. But
yeah.
that's yeah.
I'm back on your analogy about milk duds, and it's like finding the one rabbit turd in your milk duds.
Yeah. Well, I meant to say one good and plenty in your Mike and Ike's because they're similar shaped, but my
True.
mind supplied milk dud, which is of note. I'm like, thank you.
Yeah.
Telford Place, what was the breakup of the rooms there? Where was she located? Telford Place?
She was down the wing, straight down from the nurse's desk, about 2 doors on the left.
Okay.
And she had 3 roommates.
And she described her a little bit of personality in her.
tall, not very well. She doesn't walk anymore. She had a good sense of humor. She often said she didn't want to be there. And so one night I gave her an instant overdose.
I think
But
she
she
said
survived
she
because
meant
the
that
nurses
she didn't
came
want
on
to be there physically at the facility, not like she didn't want to be alive. I think
Yeah.
she meant
She's,
something very different than how you interpreted
Jesus,
it,
don't give
lady.
this woman a travel agency. They all didn't want to be here. I gave them
Exactly.
what they wanted. No, they wanted a flight to Fiji, ma'am.
Yeah, it's like, uh,
Yeah. Again, you have lost. I can't imagine what it would be like to have an entire lifetime of experience and then to suddenly have that blank out on you at times to where you don't know where you are. You don't know what's going on. You're in a strange place you don't remember.
yeah,
And you have someone with a piss poor attitude coming in like, hey, come get your medicine, let's go dress. And, this person naturally would say, I don't want to be here. I want to be home. Or
yeah.
where's my mom or my dad or someone, I don't want to be here. That would
Yeah.
seem fairly natural to me. And I wouldn't assume they would want me to shuffle them, quickly and fastly off this mortal coil.
Yeah, exactly. That's where the disturbing part comes in. It's like, because to get from A to B, that's a pretty big leap. It's
Yes.
like, because I think you and I and probably everybody else here would understand that the same way, is that like, hey, I don't want to be here. It's mean like they don't want to be in the hospital or in the nursing home.
Yeah.
It's like where this lady's like, no, they just want to check out, man. It's like, so here we go.
and again, the darkly sad, not so humorous, but gallows humor thing is that she'd probably be the best healthcare worker in Canada right now. She's getting them people out and off the dole. She's just out.
True.
But like, why did you do that? Said they didn't want to be here. Sounds good enough to me, Canadian Health Board.
Yeah, like I mean, she would hold some cabinet position under Trudeau. So for her good work, as he would put it, I'm sure.
Probably sad. Oh,
Sorry, Canadians, because I know there's
yeah,
Canadians here.
I know. I'm sorry.
Went to check on her to do something else and noticed that she was sweaty and took her blood sugar and saved her life.
And how did the
Wait a
other
minute.
people
You
survive?
saved a life?
It just didn't, Matilda and Delvina, they found them to have low blood sugar and they gave them stuff to raise it. And Wayne and Mike, they just survived. It was never found out.
Was there anything to do with,
She's like, well, they just survived. I mean, it was a practice attempt. We'll call that a mulligan, I guess.
Yeah.
She's in there thinking, I shouldn't have confessed to that one. No one knew it.
Yeah, that's God. Just imagine being the practice attempt though. Like God, that
Yeah,
would just be.
because
Ugh.
these are not let's these are not you go to sleep peacefully and that's just how. I mean, you are sweating, you can become diaphoretic, you can get pale, you can get nauseous. I mean, these are not easy ways to go. And she's kind of making it seem like, it was their time to die and I just naturally let them slowly glide. No, some of these people were in there for 4 to 5 days deeply in a coma because it had messed with their bodies so much.
Yeah, like she does try to portray it as being a little bit more peaceful than it actually was.
Thank you, Jude, for the 5 gifted memberships. And those went to Alice G, Jung Forever, Squab Bob, Mass, and Terry D. Welcome back, or welcome to the Church of Mo. We have dark chocolate and sarcasm, but no recorders or glockenspiels, which they actually do have on sale at Amazon right now for Labor Day for reasons I cannot comprehend.
I mean, it takes a lot of labor to make a glockenspiel. I mean, come on.
Well,
See?
I'm over here. They just had lightning deals, and I'm like, I could kind of understand the mini fridges and the Roombas, and then they're like, and a glockenspiel, and I'm like, why?
They're gonna make a comeback or something. I am sure, I'm sure recently David Hasselhoff somewhere in the world played a glockenspiel, and so that's why they're back in fashion. I don't know.
You know, if my neighbors start doing karaoke night again on Wednesdays till like 12 o'clock, I might be tempted.
There you go. See?
I don't know how I'm going to play Immigrant Song on a glockenspiel, but I will figure it out.
That's
The gender, male or female, that does influence the effect of it, or is it just,
Not
again,
that I
just dependent
know.
on the makeup of their body and their health? And,
Yeah, not that I know of, it has anything to do with gender.
the nurse who saved Sandra,
Yeah,
was there anything that ever came back on you?
no,
Any retribution, consequences?
no, she never figured it out that I know of. She even asked me about it and asked if I thought she'd done the right thing.
Who was it? Do you remember her name?
Diane, I don't remember her last name.
And what was you working at that point? Was just really working at Telford Place?
Whatever I got called in for. I was actually working for a nursing agency at that time called Lifeguard Agency, and I was sent to Telford as lifeguard.
I see. So you were never employed by Telford Place?
No, I was employed by Lifeguard, and I would go to Telford and to other places as well.
Oh, that's a wonderful idea. Let's give this chick a bunch of nursing homes to go to. She's like, I was in a floating position. I was like, yes, as the angel of death.
yeah. That's disturbing.
Yeah,
Very much.
but it's all of these kind of angels of mercy have this weird thing where they want to be seen as really kind, loving, ultra caring people, but they do the most incredibly cold, calculated lizard people things. I just, well, reptilian mind kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just,
it's brutal. Like,
I mean, her only saving grace, her only, and I give this, I don't give this a lot of weight considering, she did take 14 people away and tortured, I think, 6 or 7 others who were attempts. But she was given the opportunity to work with children's insulin pumps. And deep in her heart, she knew she could not control her urges. So she resigned from that particular position. It's not a lot, but she knew that she would not be able to control her addiction.
yeah, I mean, if a bunch of old people got on her nerves, Jesus, imagine kids.
Yeah, kids who have a complex disease that, may not be receptive to listening to a nurse who, okay, let's be honest, teens are a bit of a-holes, but if you have a nurse that's bitching at you about nutrition and health and she looks like Elizabeth, you may tell them to go screw themselves because they obviously don't know what they're talking about if you're a teen.
True. That's very true.
You may wonder from what depth and what encyclopedic knowledge of health do they come from.
True.
And you might not say it in a nice way.
Probably not. I know as a teenager who had to deal with some medical-y things, I was not very nice. But that was
Yeah,
because
no.
I was not in a very good place mentally.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that is her one saving grace, but it's not it's a big one, but it's not. The actions you chose not to do could have, carried over to all those things that you did do.
yeah.
Have you ever heard of a punching bag, ma'am?
Yeah. I'm sure there's a lot of families that would like to get a few licks in.
Oh yeah, I think I have heard of him. Then there's Lucy Letby, uh,
Is that the British lady?
Hannah. Yes, but they also Beverly Allett was also a British one. I watch way too much true crime.
I remember somebody brought
And
up
that's
the British lady.
Well, yeah, because I think they're retrying her for a couple that were maybe deadlocked. No, she's shown remorse in a superficial way, like, well, a good person would feel remorse. It doesn't come off as remorseful if you're able to talk to about these matter of factly and talk about, the deception you carried on with the families. No. Short
Yeah.
answer, no.
Yeah, she's talking about it like, you get up in the morning and you go to the bathroom and you pee and then you brush your teeth. Like that is how she's talking about it.
Yeah, it really is like, okay, yeah, I accidentally, I gave a penny, take a penny. I took a dime and I felt bad, but I fed a homeless guy on the way home. So, balance. I mean, no.
Yeah, I mean, the only problem is the homeless guy she fed on the way home was a load of insulin.
Pretty much. She's like, hey, you want this rat poison? Just
Oh,
absolutely. Thank you, Squabog, for the 10 memberships. And those went to Spirit Matter, Denise Sells, Wanda Stevens, Roxanne McClellan, Cindy Snyder, Rabid Rooster, and Dizzy Grenade, Dennis Heaton, Lady Autumn Sky, and I have questions about everything. So congratulations. Welcome to the Church of Mo. Dark chocolate, sarcasm, yes. Patchouli oil, small doses. I'm trying to be more inclusive, but I will never change my mind on recorders. So y'all can just do with that what you will. Look, we only have one commandment, and that is wear deodorant and not patchouli oil. They are not the same thing. Thank you. Goodbye.
I don't disagree on any of these things, actually.
It's called populism.
Yes, it's patchouli is a special scent.
Yeah. Recorders are evil, Alice. I call them audio assault weapons.
Yeah, like when they were
I
talking
mean,
about those people at that embassy, like who were feeling these weird effects of stuff. It was
oh yeah.
recorders. It
It
wasn't.
was. It was an entire school doing hot cross buns at once.
Yes, it wasn't energy directed weapons. It was recorders. I mean, they were pointing them at them, but
Yeah. And then there was a special solo of Mary Had a Little Lamb, but everyone, since we have millennial parents and everyone is special, it was that 170,000 times.
yeah, yeah,
I may
yeah.
not have lived through this very hell myself and lived to tell it.
Yeah. Yeah, recorders are when you said it, I was like, "Oh my God, I haven't thought about a recorder in like forever." And I'm like, they clearly they're still doing that if you're bringing it up. But I was just like,
Yes,
"Holy
they
crap."
are. And they're sending them home at the end of the school year.
Oh yeah. I had mine for years and then I think I finally like ended up throwing it away one of the times I moved.
I think my mom threw mine away like the day after I brought it home, like, oh, where did I put my recorder? She's like, I don't know. We should probably look for it some
Dog ate it.
February.
Cow ate it, something.
She's like, look it that no. Yeah, she
Maybe.
was.
Oh Jesus, never mind. I was thinking of that
Oh
other
wait,
thing
no.
we were talking about. lore.
Damn it.
It's a whole industry.
Oh, no. Well, I'm possibly. I could see. It's 2024. Oh Lord. Let's get back to Elizabeth.
When you got involved with St. Elizabeth as well, right? When you were with her.
Yeah. Just, I was only with St. Elizabeth like a month and a half before I quit.
Okay. 2016 of August, which is not too long ago, you're employed with St. Elizabeth, it says here.
Yeah, I was frustrated with my job. I had a huge workload, having to learn a lot of new things, just a lot of frustration. The weekend that this happened, I had all of the people that I had to look after. Most of them were in Ingersoll. I didn't know any of them. And on the Saturday, I went in and I was doing my care. And this is really the only one that was pre-planned, because on Saturday I went in and I was doing care on Beverly. I noticed that she had a PICC line, which is line that takes medication straight to your heart, and that she was diabetic. And so the next day when I went in, I was really frustrated, and I could just really feel the surging and the laughing, and I gave her a huge amount. I gave her, I think it was 180, three doses of 60 through the PICC line.
Jesus. I
My
mean,
God.
again, if you're having a bad day, it's called walking, counting to 10. I don't know, watching hoarders like the rest of us and feeling better about people because our houses don't look that bad. I mean,
Oh my God.
there are many maladaptive behaviors that deal with frustration that don't end up in other people dying.
Yeah.
Have you tried dark humor, ma'am?
Yeah. Like if I'm having one of those moments, I'll just usually listen to something that's heavy. But I was actually just looking up because she said she thinks it was 183 doses of 60. So I'm assuming she's talking about milliliters. And so, or milligrams, I should say.
Well, so I think units of insulin are just a little bit different. I
It's
think,
it's milligrams
but yeah,
slash DL. What I don't know what DL stands for. Deciliters,
deciliter.
maybe? I don't know. I'm not a medical E. But so I was looking to see like, okay, what is a normal dose of insulin? So apparently for type 2, it's 80 to 130. So she gave somebody who is non-diabetic 180 milligrams of
Through a PICC line, which goes directly into your heart. So, but I think she said she was diabetic. But oh my God, just again, she knew BS. See, this is why they didn't have me interrogating her. They had the Stuart Smalley of Canada. Like, you're perfect, you're awesome, and you're gonna do this. You know, it's like you can do it.
That's just bonkers.
Because I'd be like, Elizabeth, let's cut the bullshit. You're pissed off, you wanted to get off, and you decided to take it out on this old lady.
Yeah, that's just crazy. That's a lot.
I'd have gone full Dirty Harriet.
Yeah.
Just jangling the chain. Okay, we're gonna talk reals. Are we gonna talk here? Or are are you gonna bull crap me?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna walk out and I'm gonna see if you're ready to, be smart about this. Tell me why you were in Walmart with no shorts on. If you'd like to watch that interrogation, that is a Rumble exclusive
For
for
reasons.
all the reasons.
Topic, language,
Which,
everything.
Yeah.
That's a good one though.
It
And
is a good one.
it's dark. It's very dark.
I do like, okay, well, look, I mean, I have struggled with demons, but I mean, I've only done this like twice in 14 years, and I just know it's gonna be a bad day when I don't put my briefs on. Just like,
and you're and I hate to call them this because he definitely wasn't a ranger. And you put your most shortiest shorts on, aka ranger panties, and yeah, without any underwear on, and you go down to the Walmart, and yeah, that's just
well, I mean, who among us hasn't let an egg dangle in the dairy department?
oh Jesus. I mean, I guess it was Arizona, so it is hot. I mean, the more layers you're wearing, I guess. I lived in Phoenix for a couple years. It's hotter than the devil's asshole there. So I understand. But when I went out in public, if I was wearing shorts, I was still wearing something underneath them. And like, I guess the most, because actually I noticed with these, a pair of shorts that I have now, is that the only thing that you're going to see hanging out of the shorts, maybe the string for the waist. Because everything's tucked up appropriately.
Your mama raised you right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and like JD Buck says, if wear something under the shorts. It's acceptable if you're at home. But if you're in public, yes, please, for the love of Jesus, wear something under your shorts.
And you're, in your 7th to 8th decade when gravity has had time to affect things.
Yeah, nobody needs to see that squirrel hanging out your pants. All right?
No. Oh, I love the public service announcements that we give here. The more you know.
They're the most needed ones, but they're never on TV.
They never are, like ladies, I, as a fabulous rack haver myself, if you've got, bigger than, let's say gravity has affected you, and if you would be exposed if you wore a crop top, not because of the crop top, but because of gravity. Don't go out in a crop top with no bra on. Look, I don't know where to look at you because I keep seeing things just a flopping, and I'm glad that you feel real proud of yourself, but just stop. Look, if you are above a C cup, that little spaghetti strap tank top with the shelf bra is not not a daggone thing. Okay? Stop. There's no support. Just stop.
Like that God, that one Karen that you watched with the police who got
Yeah,
arrested,
Hannah.
Yes, Hannah. Jesus. Yes, that lady. Good Lord.
Yeah. I mean, there are standards even in the foothills of Appalachia sometimes.
Can confirm. As somebody who lives in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains.
Yeah, if we're working on breaking stereotypes, could we stop with the C cup wallet? Could we stop putting our wallets, our cell phones, a ladder, a picture of our new grandbaby, and possibly some ones in our boobs? Could we stop?
Or your
Just
bra.
asking. Yeah.
Nobody wants your sweaty dollars. I'm sorry.
No.
I think the only time that's acceptable is when you're at a strip club.
Yeah, even
then it's
like,
a little iffy.
Ooh. Yeah, like it's moist. Thanks.
It's like, is that sweat or
I'm not gonna ask. Just put glitter body oil on it and it'll all be fine.
Now that has me wondering if dollars were like wet, if you could just like slap them on the stripper, like and they would stick.
Incoming debris. Don't give Florida any ideas. They will have a Florida tornado. It's a hurricane. Now Missy is in the booth and she's going to try to get herself $1,000, but she's got nothing on, and we just have to see what sticks to the body oil and glitter and
Oh my
go
God.
to.
How does that work? How do you pull coins out of a bra? Did you have like special little pockets in there? Like a coin booby pocket? Like how does that work?
She just jingles. And you're like, that is
Is
coming
that what
out
they
the
mean
wrong
when they say
pocket.
shake your money maker? Is that what y'all talking about?
She
Y'all
works at the
bra coin
she works
purse
at the
pocket?
0 or the 99-cent strip club. It's the Dollar Tree of strip clubs.
Just throw quarters at them. Ugh.
Interesting. I knew
So-
dentist.
Huh.
Huh. Well, I would have guessed psychiatrist, to be honest. Every single person I've known that's majored in psychiatry, like as an undergrad, has done it because they'd like to figure out what's wrong with them.
Yeah, I have a slightly horrifying psychologist story, but that's probably not appropriate to share.
The Waffle House or Spirit Airlines of strip clubs, yes. If you've ever seen Going to Jail or Going to Prison, there's like he's at a strip club at like 11 a.m. and they've got like the stripper with like her leg in a cast and one in like a wheelchair. It's terrible.
I thought that was
But
an
it is-
amateur night.
That's just after Mo takes her one and only free Groupon, pole dancing class.
I hear it's good for aerobics or something.
Yeah, I've heard it's really physically intense. And let's be honest, I got attacked by a deer. I don't need another story to tell an ER doctor.
Oh,
No, because I used Wonderance to pick line one to put into right antibiotics and Wonderance.
Well, One Direction would make me want to pull my pick lock.
no lies detected.
Pick line again.
Y'all.
The closest we can come to finding a
I was able to check it on my computer because she was seen every day by a nurse.
Okay,
So I could go into the tablets from work and see how she was.
okay. And that was just a computer program.
Okay,
used by
so
people.
I had to skip a little bit ahead, but this is her final, who was going to be her victim. And since she was floating around all these different nursing homes, she gave this woman the triple dose of insulin. And then since she wasn't physically there at that facility, she would continue to pull up her med records at different places or in the system to see if she died.
Ew.
Like, oh, has she died yet? Has she died yet? Because she couldn't go back and check on it. Just
Ew.
what? Okay, ma'am. Sure.
Yes,
I see.
on their own tablets.
Okay. And these other people, where did you inject them?
Their arms,
All of them?
all of them, yeah. Sandy was probably her leg, but she was a little bit more difficult.
In August of 2016, then with
And that is actually not true. She did admit later, or maybe in another confession, that she purposely hid some of the injections and like, should someone have just had surgery or something like that, in surgical incisions, so it wouldn't be noticed. So, as much as she's making it seem like it was not premeditated, I mean, she went through very calculated steps to not get caught.
Yeah, I didn't actually know. I didn't catch that, I guess, when I watched that the first time. That she was hiding it in places. I didn't catch that when I watched this the first time.
Well, so I think that was on Dreading when I was listening to it because I had some notes
Mm,
written down from his because he does such good research. And
yeah,
okay, y'all, I have very limited time. So I'd
yeah.
written down notes and I'd forgotten that until I re listened to it coming back because I was way off on a tangent last week. So I was trying to get back on the mindset.
Yeah.
But she wants everyone to believe that she was just so stressed out and everything. It's this, yes, but feel sorry for me. I was such a giving person. I just had full on caretaker burnout, which is a real thing.
Yeah.
And I've seen it before and I get it. But to use that real thing that real caring people have and put it on like a bodysuit and a mask is just okay. So she was caught because she actually confessed to a priest, and the priest said, Elizabeth has been known throughout her life to tell tall tales, to exaggerate things to make herself look more important or good or believable or exciting. So she confessed to him that she had been unaliving patients, but she only confessed to one. And the doctor or the pastor was kind of like, I don't, I don't know if she's telling the truth. So he prayed for her and he told her, don't do it again because he thought maybe she was internalizing guilt from patients naturally passing away. She goes to, there's more murders. Obviously, she didn't keep her promise to Jesus or the pastor. And she decides that maybe rehab will help with, unaliving people. So she goes to rehab and they kind of get the measure of her like, okay, she's prone to fantastical stories. She definitely is painting herself in a certain light. So they actually made her write down these very detailed confessions because they were unsure whether she was just doing this to garner attention or if this was actually real. So they they got the, I think, 4-page like written out confession from Elizabeth, took it to the police, and then it got the ball rolling because she gave actual names and things like that, what she had done. But had she not gotten or confessed herself, she would she would have not gotten caught, I don't believe.
Yeah. That's just bonkers, honestly.
Well, it was a non-denominational church. So true. But this is why I couldn't be a priest. Well, for a myriad of reasons. But
Mainly let you. Never mind. I can't say that.
well, mainly because I couldn't keep my shit to myself. I'd be like, oh my God. Like, I would be with all the nuns in the back and be like, do you want to know some hideous BS this chick is on? Like, looking all holier than thou, leading the
Mm.
eulogies and all that crap. And do you know what she's been doing? Like, I, because I couldn't keep it off my face if I knew someone was a big Uber hypocrite and being a total butt. I'd be
Yeah.
like, today's sermon is about how not to be an asshole. Today's sermon, Jesus loves you, everyone else thinks you're a bitch. Why is that?
Yes. It's. I kind of want to hear that one.
Tracy, this is for you. Just started out like
Yeah. It's going to star a character named Stacy because
rhymes with Schmrebecca.
yeah. Uh,
Yes, there is a reason that there was no calling for Mo because God was like, oh hell no. Look, Joel Olstein is already using my name in vain. I will not let you shenanigan anything else.
Again, not wrong.
He's like, you're too much of a truth teller, Mo.
Yeah, well, I mean, uh, the world needs more of that, honestly. I mean, considering especially the people who are promoting themselves as pastors these days.
Yeah. Although I've
It's,
always wanted to faith heal people, but that mostly involves me just smacking them and them falling down.
as as somebody who grew up around Pentecostal churches, and yeah, I understand that one.
Okay, as a small sheltered Catholic child who then went to a Pentecostal church, I was like, Mom, I don't even know what was happening there, but people
Yeah,
were yelling and raising their hands and talking out, and I thought we weren't supposed to do any of that. Also,
yeah.
their pastor has a wife, and I think you need to talk to them because I don't know, but I don't think he can get married, and I didn't want to be the one to tell him that. And she's like,
Oh
"Well,
my
you're
God.
7. I'm glad you didn't tell him he couldn't get married." And I said, "No, I did." But he said it doesn't work like that. And then someone else said I shouldn't tell him not to get
That's funny. It's I'll have to find this thing, and because oh my God, it's the most hilarious like public prayer ever. It includes, and I'm not kidding you. Uh, the guy married. Thank you for my smoking hot wife. I'm not actually joking that that's part of the public prayer.
married.
And I'll have to find it. It's hilarious. Everyone's dying. It's great. Uh,
Oh my gosh. No, the best thing is to just, if you are in a full Catholic room, to say, "Peace be with you." And they're like, "Also with you." And I'm
yeah.
like, except they switched it.
I I don't remember
He
whether I
was great about
participated.
it.
Mhm.
To be fair, if I were a pastor and, some loud, obnoxious kid came up to me and said, "I don't want to tell you you're godding wrong, but you have a wife and you're not supposed to do that."
I mean,
He could have handled it much differently, but he was very kind and he said, "No, we just have different beliefs." And I was like, "Okay, then where were the dinosaurs?"
yeah. Well, and I'll put this as nicely as I can. At least they're not taking the suffer the little children to heart like some.
True. You want
Uh,
to know the sad thing though, as much as that is an ubiquitous like joke, is actually the public school system that does way more heinous at a
yeah,
industrial level in that
yeah,
regard. I wish we could get to a point where we could talk about that. You know, I mean, obviously what happened to the Catholic Church, very, very bad,
yes, yes.
gross and wrong. But if we could focus on other things, that would be super awesome too.
Yeah, it's just yeah, it's all not great. And then when
No.
you have nurses who do what this bra did,
Yeah.
it's just yeah, it's like the world is becoming a very strange, dark
Strange
place.
place. That's why you have to laugh at it with dark humor. Otherwise, you're just like, nope, nope. Where is that asteroid of sweet, sweet release we were promised?
Yeah, because if you do that, little Missy here, Miss Farty McQueen over here, she'll just throw some insulin in your IV, and hey, I mean, there you go, because you're miserable,
Yeah, you'll
waiting
just
for the
say, "I'm having a
asteroid.
bad day." And she's like, "Okay, I got you." And she's pulling up a hypodermic needle. I'm like,
Yeah,
"No, I broke my nail. I'm fine. There's like, can I give you a gradient level? Like, this is maybe go home and have an adult beverage. I'll let you
yeah,
know if I ever just want you to shuffle me off. Thanks, Nurse Ratchet."
yeah, exactly. It's like this calls for like I don't know, a small dose of morphine or something, just to
Yeah,
get my mind
just
right.
yeah.
There's levels to this.
Yes, there's levels. There's like, look, I just like to, maybe go to a movie and decompress versus, Meteor. Can we do levels here, Elizabeth?
Yeah.
No, I don't. I don't remember her first name was Beverly.
Oh, okay.
I think probably, I don't know if I could tell you the weekend it was or not.
Thank you, White Rabbit. That's actually good to know. I know a lot of families are having to deal with their parents or people getting older. And, there are certain things that can make it easier for people with dementia that, like, I just told you that. Well, yes, you just did, but bringing that up might be frustrating or upsetting, and just different mindsets about how to talk to someone. So thank you for that reminder, because that is really, really good to remember, especially when you're walking through that, just some different ways to approach things to make it easier.
Yeah.
Have a good day, Jude.
She lived in Ingersoll?
Yes.
Did she live in a home or?
Yeah, in a home, like
Her own residence, I mean, or?
That is a
they're
very
taking
aggressive
their-
hand. I think they're saying where she
I
lived.
was gonna say they say her name. But where she
And that was the only one you had given through the PICC line?
Yeah.
Did you know what the result would be compared to a direct injection into an arm or a leg or a thigh?
I'd
compared
never
to a
done
PICC
it
line?
before. I never looked at it. I have no idea.
Okay.
She went to sleep fairly quickly and I left, but when I checked the next day to see how she was through the next nurse, there was no change.
How old was she?
She was 63, 64.
And what was her diagnosis as far as her health?
She was diabetic and she had large ulcers on her leg. And she also had a severe infection.
How does that make you feel going through all that?
Awful.
X to doubt. X to doubt. This woman doesn't feel awful.
Yeah.
She's pretending to.
Yeah. Because if you felt awful, you would have stopped or not done it in
Yeah.
the first place.
Yeah. Yeah, almost like, it's not like you can quit after a baker's dozen and say, I've made a couple missteps, I will admit.
Yeah, I mean it's like that thing that they say about serial unalivers.
Yeah.
Like once you pop, you can't stop. Yeah. That's kind of what it is. She
Yeah.
had no desire to stop.
She had no desire to stop. I think she was maybe wanting, okay, this is my uneducated opinion, but she was tired of working. Taking care of others is a physically intensive job. So she's going to prison where someone else can take care of the meals and the laundry and the all that other stuff that she just can't. She doesn't want to function with anymore. She just wants to be taken care of. And my guess is she'll be the first one to bitch at a nurse for forgetting her meds or, having a hairy day at the jail.
Yeah. And unfortunately, as karma is probably not going to strike in this case, but the irony of having a nurse that's having a bad day do a little bit of justice would be bliss, but that's probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
But
Because life is just never that poetic and precise. That is more of a
that's a more of a story kind of thing, a
Yeah.
novel, if you will.
Yes. But I wouldn't edit it if I came across that story.
Be like, eh,
Eh,
little
seems
karma
like
every once in a while wouldn't be a bad thing.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to see it take over the town. You want to see the kids win, but you know, it's
Yeah,
just.
but a
But
little
you want that
justice
little
now and again.
teaser in the back, the little teaser in the background, like maybe it left eggs, and you're like, oh crap, Stephen King, don't write this again.
Yeah, which is why there's like 50 alien movies now. It's because there's always one left.
Well,
There's
true, but
always.
I'm waiting for the alien that is voiced by Chris Tucker, Alien 99, Rush Hour 12. It's going to be a crossover. And he's
Who?
like, I'm not going out the airlock. Just
Uh,
in full Chris Tucker voice.
Fifth Element. The Fifth Element.
Yes.
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 That. Yeah.
I'm
He.
yeah, I'm waiting for that crossover.
Yeah. That was a good movie.
I love that movie.
It's very cheesy, kind of campy. It's good though,
Yeah.
and it has Bruce
Yeah.
Willis.
Yeah. And Jovovich doesn't talk a whole lot, which is what killed the Resident Evil movies.
Again, no lies detecting. Somebody who's watched, I'm pretty sure all of them.
I have to. I look, it's my guilty pleasure. I love really, really bad movies sometimes. So I do have all of the Resident Evil because I'm like, wait. Now Alice doesn't remember that she has the T virus and you T virused her. What? And she was an old lady. What? I am
Yeah,
old. I'm like,
that's a
so,
that whole series of movies is it's something else because as somebody who has played like the games and things, it's like this is nothing like that. Like there are some vague things that are similar to the storylines there, but it's pretty far away in a lot of cases. But
well, I mean, it
yeah,
does follow the alien thing where like you thought you were safe and you like these characters. Well, we killed them off screen in this next one, and every achievement you thought you made against Umbrella is now you're back at square one. Welcome to movie 10.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's wild.
Do you feel like there's a burden lifted off your shoulders?
Yes, I've done the right thing.
Do you feel there's a sense of relief?
Yes. And now I know that it wasn't God. And I'm ashamed of myself that happened, but I also think that it was mental health. I think it was, if I was in my right mind, or I would have been able to tell. I mean, I was raised to believe in God. I was raised from a baby to go to Sunday school. So how could I get such a strong feeling that this is what God wanted, unless it was something wrong with my head?
Because no one is as blind as someone lying to themselves.
Hmm.
Ask the chick that picked the bad boy for the 80,000th time so she can fix him.
Yeah. Well, the subtitles haven't caught up here, but she said, or maybe there's just something wrong with my head. It's like ding 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 ding.
Ding, ding, ding.
It's like you hit it right there on the head.
So I'm going to blame it on either God or mental health.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll tell you which one I'm leaning toward, and you give me your idea, and we'll write them down at the same time.
Yeah. And let's see who's closer here.
Audience answer: you. You are the problem.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. It's like stop blaming God for all the crap that you do. It's like whatever. It's like just yeah.
Or at least be interesting. Say, you know what? My imaginary friend Harold, who is a pink elephant, which kind of is apropos because I was stealing a lot of, hydromorphine. Anywho, Harold is a straight up sociopath, and he's always like, light things on fire, do this to people. And most of the time I can tell Harold no, but sometimes he just, puppets my hands hand over hand, and that's what happens. I mean, if you're going to use mental health, go the full Monty.
Yeah, exactly. I could get behind that.
Yeah, just saying, put some effort into it, ma'am.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
the
you're
one
not
thing.
petting invisible monkeys or talking in tongues or anything. I have seen better at
Yeah,
church.
exactly. It's like give me like that's the one thing that all of these people lack is they're not creative. It's like their
I
brain
know.
works in one like evil sadistic way, but they're not
Yeah.
creative. It's like, come on, like your story's not believable in the slightest. It's like give me a little creativity. Come on.
Yeah, like I was gonna join a church for snake handlers, but I thought that that might be, a little bit too, and I wanted to really push my faith in God. So I was like, God, how about we do a wager? If you don't want me to unalive someone, you can stop it, right? So I
Yeah,
was
like
trying to get God to perform a divine miracle in front of my eyes. Like,
I mean, like you see the like Chandler Halderson, the boy put a lot of thought. He put a lot of effort into his story. I mean, it was bullcrap. I mean, like anybody can see
yeah,
it, but at least the kid tried. I mean, he
yeah. I
tried to
mean,
weave a good story together.
he did one weekend, like the weekend before a project is due, and you do the anxiety, Red Bull infused, no sleep, but you get the project in. I mean, it's not going to be your best project, but it is passable. I mean, she didn't even do this. She's just like, yeah, I'm going to blame God on this one. I don't have a dog, so I don't know what to do with that.
Yeah, uh, it's just crazy.
I don't know, we've talked about what you would say to the families and so on and so forth, but, again, I feel terrible for the people that are gonna find out in the days and weeks to come about what actually happened to their loved ones, right?
True story.
I feel horrible.
That's what the dyslexic said.
Um,
If there was ever anything
Oh
I
my
could,
gosh. Speaking of that, so Friday, I am late to mornings with Mo because my youngest son, I have a plethora of tumblers that have curse words on them that are not appropriate for children. I usually keep those in my room. My son decided to try to sneak one out to take to his very Christian, like Shiite Christian school.
Shiite Christian.
Yeah, it was I am the ringleader of this shit show. And it had he's like, it's a carnival cup. No one's going to worry about it. And I said, no, those have bad words on it. You can't read. He said, well, I can't read, so no one's going to care. I was like, but your teacher can. So no.
I have I have a singular coffee mug that is offensive. Um, it says "F your sensitivity" on the side of it, and when you pick it up to drink, when you pick it up on the bottom of it, it has like a middle finger. I sometimes
Love it.
forget when I'm in meetings um, on video for those. And I've gotten a few looks, and they're like, they think it's funny, like nobody cares,
Oh,
but it's just I've gotten a few looks, and because I forget, and it's like, oh yeah, I'm sorry.
oh yeah. Yes. Well, yeah. I was like, come on, kid. God, I try to be a good parent. I'm trying to do all the things, and you give me this one. Why? You're just there is not even, positive reinforcement. I am just trying my best here.
Yes, and Chandler gets an A for effort. I mean, ultimately he failed, but he does get an A for effort. He tried, whereas most of these people don't put any effort into it at all.
Yeah.
I mean, like, the Anthony Todd is on my
Oh,
mind
yeah,
recently because I listened to all of Dreading stuff on it recently again, and like the story he came up with. Oh, I looked at Quora or whatever, and it's like, who goes looking for answers on Quora? Like for real? Like who goes and looks up answers on that? Like
yeah, well, I
like
mean, I would have believed him if he said Reddit, though.
he he initially he actually said Reddit/Quora, but it's like I'm pretty sure in the super, you know, whether you like it or not, the super sensitive age of Reddit, like looking for answers on how to unalive yourself isn't going to be something you're going to find. And like,
Probably.
so it's like the low effort story that he came up with is like, it's not even good.
Well, yeah, and then he blamed his wife, and he was like, "I was trying to unalive myself, but I just can't die." And I
Yeah.
was like, "Dude, your cholesterol was 2 days away from taking you at that point."
Yeah, well, let alone God knows what kind of crap that you like would potentially expose yourself to, being around your dead family of
For
five,
3
four for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah,
Yeah, Todd's definitely one we need to go over, but he is such an absolute douche McDouche face
oh, he,
that I just like the part where the prosecutor is basically being a woman and not letting him mansplain with his non-doctor of medicine degree.
I love that
She's like,
actually.
"Are do you have a medical degree?" And he's like, "I'm a chiropractor." And she's like, "Okay, is that a medical degree of any kind?"
It's it is the one time. So like, I don't know anything about going to school to be a lawyer or anything like that. The prosecution throwing out objections during that is perfection, because
Oh, yes.
she started to do it to piss him off because it was working. And he was
Yes.
visibly showing that he was pissed off in front of the jury, who he's trying to gain sympathy for because he unalived his entire family. Like, it's perfection. And I
Yeah.
love it.
Well, there's something deeply delicious about a person that can make one of these absolute these mask people. Like that's I think after listening to this entire confession of Elizabeth, now that they're going to go into the touchy-feely things like don't you feel
Yeah.
sorry and she's like, "Yeah, I feel sorry." My favorite part is where the cops just kind of go or someone just gives them the like, "I don't believe you. I believe you're a piece of trash." And someone that can do it when they can't take that mask off
Yeah.
is my favorite thing. That's why if I ever got to see Sarah, I would be the most obnoxious person I could be. Like, not intentionally, not intentionally. Because she in order to say anything to me, she would have to revert back to her natural being,
Yeah,
and I want
exactly.
that on blast.
Yeah. Or like, I would do something really obnoxious and very distasteful, like, I'm calling about your Samsonite warranty.
That's a better one. Or I just bring Diet Dr. Peppers into court every day and just drink them in front of her.
Yeah.
You know, with a shirt that says Cotton Mouth, Dr. Pepper fixes it.
Oh. Oh God.
To do so that nobody did this again. I do.
Just a few other things to cover off then. Um, the things that some of these people would do to you, the hitting, the pinching, the grabbing of your breasts, would you ever report that?
Yeah, but yeah, it was always reported in church though.
And that's documented on their charts?
Yeah.
Okay. And was there any, there's obviously never, not obviously, but was there ever any charges or criminal matters that came of any of this at all?
No. That's part of working in a nursing home. That's just what they do. Might even be your fault, dear.
Yeah, who said that?
Mrs. Conway.
Do you think that might have played a role in your actions?
No.
Wait.
Like hell it didn't. You wrote all of these MFers up here like, I would like to get them evicted from the nursing home. And my guess is a supervisor who had the ability to cognitively understand in the emotional, you know, depth to understand that yes, these things are going to happen and we can do different lifts, but it might not be totally unavoidable. And, it just happens.
Yeah, but I call BS because she
Yeah.
specifically said that one guy who touched her boob, that is the reason that she unalived him.
Well, what she just gave us was the canned response of what people think that nurses should say.
Yeah.
What she really thought was, I'm going to get that MFer back. I told him once, don't touch me. He deserves to go.
Yeah. That's just, yeah. Because, like, she just sat here and explained, like, that is why she did this in some instances.
Yeah.
And now she's saying, oh, no, like, it had nothing to do with that.
It is a stretch. Okay, I think her feet have eaten her flip-flop strap. Like, that little thong strap that's supposed to be on your foot? It has, like, engulfed it. That's why I thought she was barefoot. Now, as a person that's had edema, really bad just reaction to medication, I can tell you that hurts like a son of a bitch, but I don't feel bad for her.
Well, no.
No, but
It's hard to feel
someone's
bad
going to
for
have to
most of
cut
these
them
people.
flip-flops. Well, someone's going to have to cut those flip-flops off her feet. I feel bad for them.
Mm-hmm. True. They might just let her wear them.
True.
Just be like, we're not giving you new ones.
Yeah, those are your only pair. Figure it out.
Maureen, your ex. What was Maureen's last name?
Yeah, if I were your ex, I'd like my audio removed too.
Okay. The very first person I ever disclosed it to was another girlfriend at the time. Her name was. That was after I killed a couple of people, and she told me not to do it again, or she was going to turn me into the police.
When was that?
I couldn't tell you. 2008, I think. And then 2011, when I decided to stop killing, my friend, I told her what I'd been doing and that I had stopped. And then,
I'm just waiting for her to say, and Leroy that bags my groceries down at Trader Joe's. And he was like, Elizabeth, I don't know if this is true or not, but if it's true, just don't do it again.
Yeah.
Okay. How many times do you have a conversation where, apropos of nothing, someone comes up to you and says, hey, I'm a nurse. You know what I do? I've been unaliving people. I mean, what kind of crazy personality did she have where people were like, she's lying? Like,
Or maybe, and maybe this is just the standard Canadian polite response. It's just
no,
don't do it again.
Yeah, don't make the Mounties come out. No,
Yeah.
I can't do a Canadian.
Don't do it again, eh?
Yeah, pretty much. What about hockey? Well, I never cheated at hockey. Okay, all right. Okay. All can be fixed. Did you ever smuggle maple syrup, though? Because that's an unforgivable crime.
Actually, wouldn't that be considered like spreading the propaganda?
Okay,
Of
she
Canada?
smuggled in Miss Buttersworth. She doesn't like maple syrup. That's how they really got her. They were like, "You're not really Canadian."
Yeah. Is you like the fake sugar syrup?
She's been poisoned by high fructose corn syrup. Don't worry, Indiana's got her. Boys,
Yeah.
the insulin won't matter. High fructose corn syrup straight from Mo's hometown will help.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely have that issue now too, but part of me wants to feel a little bit of sympathy because I know how terrible that feels. But no.
Yeah.
In the realm of people that could do something to alleviate things, yes, you can do something about this. Elizabeth, I promise I promise it's not, God making your feet swell.
Yeah.
I told my pastor. And then after that, I told in 2014, after Art passed away, I went on a holiday, and that's when I really decided that this had to stop. And so I told a friend who lives in BC. Then I told, when I came back, I got advice from a lawyer.
Vegetable lawyer.
Well, I mean, Runkle can't be everywhere. They've got good lawyers, and she's already got a potato in there, so she got a zucchini. Like, just
my
what
God.
is?
A vegetable lawyer.
Okay, this is a whole. I mean, she is the worst. It's pretty sad when you're constant lying, exaggerating, and all sorts of like just random crazy behavior means that you confess to multiple people to multiple murders, and they're like, yeah, that's just Elizabeth being Elizabeth again.
Yeah. No need to
And no
call the
one's
vegetable
like,
lawyer.
hey, just on like the off chance that she's not joking, should we tell anyone? Nah, critical drinker, it'll be fine.
Yeah. No need to call the vegetable lawyer.
Or the vegetable police.
Yeah.
And then while I was in Toronto, while I was in CAMH, well, I told my friend, before everyone, I've told my cousin, I told my friend, and I told my friend, and then while I was in CAMH,
Elizabeth, who in Canada did you not tell?
Yeah, right? It's like, Jesus. Told people in BC, over there in, where did she say, Toronto? It's like, Jesus.
On my Garth Brooks fan club page. I mean, the Entenmann's fans, page.
Yeah.
Poor Elizabeth. She's confessing like a bunch of times, and she's like, just believe me. And all of them are like, no, we're going to need proof. And she's like, well, I guess that was God telling me I didn't have to confess.
Yeah. It was a sign that I should keep going.
Yeah. No one asked me to give them evidence. So that's obviously a sign.
which I told someone who I thought was a friend. They turned around and called the police to make sure that.
You mean the one person that didn't want to be found as an accessory after the fact? No, you're the terrible friend in that situation.
Yeah. It's like, I didn't agree for you to confess these things to me when we decided to be friends. Like, these are things that are in the not okay to tell me list.
Like, we are not besties like that. We are not besties like that. Like, I am like a feed your cat friend. We have levels of friendship here.
Yeah.
Not a you confess and I take it to the grave. That's something you need to get in writing. I need to know if I can get prosecuted for it. I have seen you in action, so you're clearly a terrible criminal. I'm just going to have to pass on all of these options here.
Yeah. It's like, there's different kinds of friends. And it sounds like, honestly, it sounds like most of the people that she's talked to, except for the traitor, the last one that she's talking about now, the rest of them are ride or die. Like, they're the people you call at like 2 o'clock in the morning and be like, hey, I got something we need to bury.
Or they're so deeply uninterested and unwilling to deal with you that they're like, Elizabeth is talking again. Oh my God. All right.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. Whatever.
Yeah. It's one of the two.
I mean, if I had known her to tell tales all the time, of Bradley yawn proportion,
Yeah.
I'd be like, I'd still call the cops because you aren't getting me to Canadian prison on accessory after the fact, Elizabeth. Oh, hell no.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, I'm sure that there's, like, we've all known somebody like this, right, who tells tall
Oh,
tales. I
yeah.
mean, I think the problem, though, is that most of us probably knew somebody like this in high school. And it
Yes.
probably stopped there because we all grew up.
Yeah. There are certain people that seem to thrive in a level of self induced chaos in their life that I just don't get. This seems
Yeah.
like way too. Is she? Uh, yeah, no.
Yeah.
It,
I don't understand that because, like, I know that you know this, but I don't know how many other people know this. So I'm in the process of moving, and I've had appraisers, inspectors, all this, realtor people in and out of my house for the last, seems like forever now. It hasn't been, it's like 3 weeks. But um, going over like all of this stuff, and it's like, I apologize every time somebody comes in here. It's like, my house is a mess, because to me, it's a mess, because like all my crap's basically in boxes and there's stuff everywhere. Like, to me, it's a mess. And like, but people, they all like, they're like, your house is super clean. Like, even though there's like all your stuff is in boxes, like your house is super clean. They're like, don't
yeah,
ever apologize to anybody for this. But to me, it's chaotic.
yeah, yeah,
It's like,
and it is. Yeah, and there's some people that just thrive. They like the drama and they like everything, and it makes me so exhausted. My
yeah,
guess is all these friends, air quote, that these were acquaintances who firmly identified her as an emotional vampire
yeah,
and we're like, yeah, look, we'll say hi to her when we're at church, but we're not inviting her to dinner ever again.
yeah, exactly. Like, again, we all know people like that,
Yeah.
and we try to avoid them, I'm going to assume.
Yeah, well, I mean, unless you need to feel better about your life. I mean, there are some times when you're like, I am a train wreck, but I am not a burning dumpster fire train wreck, and I am proud of me.
Yes, my train may wiggle on the tracks every once in a while, but it's not that.
It never went to murder alley 13 times.
Yeah. Uh,
Like my moral compass is a bit off, but yeah, like I said, it generally points in thou shalt not kill direction.
yeah, exactly.
Has really been dealt with. And I understand that he thought he was doing the right thing. I understand that, but
Wait,
he had said,
Stephanie thought he was doing the right thing. Did Stephanie used to be a boy's name? Because I know Lauren used to be a boy's name, but I don't think Stephanie was ever a boy's name.
I
I know
don't
Ashley was also a male name too.
really.
Yeah,
Um,
we had one kid in high school whose name his name was Ashley, and I think he got tired of getting the Mickey taken out of him every day, and he's like, Ashley used to be a boy's name before current trends, and I'm like, your parents are assholes.
huh.
Like, can you imagine giving your kid a name where he's going to have to explain it? Like, I don't know if there are any among you in chat, but if you give your girl child a name like Brittany or Taylor or Sailor, but you spell it like a dyslexic on meth, you are just making that child have to. No, it's Steph and Nink. There's a K, two Q's, and one Y in there. Don't ask me. I don't know. My parents were on. I hope there was some sort of drugs involved.
Yeah. Or like if you spelled Taylor like the like the Hawktua lady.
Oh yeah,
TahyLour
yeah,
or something.
yeah. Just don't do that to your kid. Look, it's mean. All you are going to do is make that child have to spell it out for everyone, and they're never going to find their little decal when you go to Disney World and you have to spend $85, for their
Yeah.
little custom Mickey Mouse ears. There's never going to be a Taylor spelt with, an inverted 8 and a Q.
very true. It's
We've
yeah.
all seen Bebe's kids. It's a real pain
I've
when you don't
seen
have.
some spellings of names that are like what? It's like can we just keep it simple, please? I know it's
Yeah,
a lot to
there.
ask. I know you want to
Oh
be
my gosh, there
different.
are some articles, and I'm like, oh, um, if I get this wrong, it could make implications, but it's not. I'm just a bad reader, phonicsr, and there's a lot of letters here.
Yeah. Like there's I if I remember right, this was years ago. So I'm sure the person still has a name like this unless they're old enough to actually change it now. But there was at least 2 or 3 kids in the United States who were named Lol.
That shouldn't tickle me, but
Yeah.
that would be.
It's it's special. And it's like, okay, maybe people who are gonna name their kids Lol probably shouldn't be having kids. I'm just gonna say that.
True.
Yes,
But
I'm
then you
being
see the people.
judgmental.
Well, but then you see the names that people give their kids in earnest, like Apple or Coco, and you're like,
Yeah. I'm
what?
I'm
No.
I'm actually looking at 100 bad kid names right now because it reminded me, and I'm looking through here and I'm going, oh my god, like
I
people
think
actually name their kids
chlamydia
this.
would probably be the worst one, but I have heard of stories of parents that may not have English as their first language hear a very pretty sounding word to them that doesn't
Yes,
mean.
or like naming your kid Arson or Bacardi, baby boy, banana, brick, blue jeans, burger, candida.
Burger,
Yes,
candida.
chaos, custard, denim, uh,
I could kind of go
drug.
with chaos, but I feel like that's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, like well, and here's one. Tell me how you would actually pronounce this. Apparently, somebody has named their kid ESPN. How do you pronounce that? Espen? Like,
Espen. Oh my god. All right, that's it. We need
yeah.
parenting licenses yesterday. The problem is I'm not even sure I would qualify. So it's kind of one of those oh gosh, modest proposals where I go full John Swift at the end and like, look, I don't have any Irish children to sell, so I don't know that I can say anything really about this entire proposal. But
Mhm.
I mean, I don't have a dog in this game anymore.
Yeah, it's up for discussion.
Yeah. Oh, good lord.
So I won't tell anybody, and I was using him as a resource for support, and he turned around
Right.
when I'd already, I'd already shared it. So why would he call the police?
So why?
Wait, you're like, he is such a dick friend. I had told everyone, and everyone was like, nah, I'm not going to call the police. Look, I'd have to deal with Elizabeth, and this is probably true. I'm going to be dragged to court. I don't want to deal with this crap. This one friend, she is like, he is a jerk.
Yeah, it's
It's like,
yeah, the steps you have to go through.
but also the stunned shock that someone actually followed through when she confessed to murder. I mean,
Yeah, and I think it was 8. I think is what she confessed to.
yeah, I
believe
think there were 14 victims, and
8
because she did
unalivings.
have several, yeah,
Yeah.
and probably a lot more than that. She just picked the ones that she could remember, is my guess, or that would be patently obvious because she did sprinkle in some in this telling that did have diabetes, so it wouldn't even have shown up if she gave them extra
Mhm.
insulin. But I think she confessed to what she had to, sprinkled in a couple extra. because I think it's way higher. I don't
Yeah.
imagine she went years without being frustrated, this woman.
Yeah. I'm sure that number is much higher, but that is at least what they know about. Is they know about
Yeah.
the 14 victims, but 8 were actually unalived. So the number though is probably higher.
Yeah.
Why do you think that none of these people confronted police?
Maybe they didn't believe me. I don't know. Maybe they thought I was doing more something than the patient wanted done. You know?
And as far as believing you, are these close people to you that you've shared other deep, dark secrets with maybe over time?
I would say secrets with lots of stuff, yeah.
Because this is a pretty serious thing.
Yes, it is. It's horrible.
I'm telling you,
It's the worst thing.
Could you guys pretend that you're not talking about what color grayish you want in your kitchen? It's a pretty bad thing. It is pretty bad. I think we need an eggshell on this. But satin is easier to clean. It, j-
Yeah. It's that whole, which I mean, I guess at this point, I don't understand how some interrogations work like this, but like at this juncture, there's no need for rapport, right? Like you move beyond that. Like you already got what you need.
well, I
Um,
mean, at this point they are kind of working backwards. They have the confession. All they need to do is go find the deaths that match. I mean,
yeah.
this is you don't need to be nice to her. You can say you're kind of a despicable human being. You look like a okay, when you feel okay, if you saw now and then and you saw the young lady fill a water balloon with pudding to help accentuate her busticles. This chick looks like a bunch of jello in a water balloon that's getting ready to like I would just go full on personal attack. Like I would just be like, "Okay, you busted sack of jello. I'm glad that you're not wearing purple because I was going to, call you Grimace the entire time. You're horrible, disgusting. Don't you dare blame God on this, and I'm glad that I get out of this room and you get to go back home to jail." Because at this point she still thinks that she can go to rehab for this
Yeah.
shit. Be-
Yeah. I like how they're always delusional, and they're always delusional. They're always like, oh, like it was an accident. I'm going home. Or it was
Yeah,
unintentional. I'm going home. And it's like, yeah, that's not how this works, man. Like,
yeah. Well, she's like, if I could go to treatment, maybe. I'm like, yes, that we do have a rehabilitation center for murderers. It's called Prisión. Have you heard of it? El Jailo?
yeah,
La
it's
Detención? I mean,
it's it's crazy how some people actually think that they're gonna walk on some of these things. Like, it legitimately is crazy to me that people are like, oh, like even in like super sad cases, like I'm sure everybody knows oh God, I'm forgetting his name now. Um,
we've caught
Judge.
most disease.
No, the judge in Michigan. I can't think
Oh,
of his name.
uh, Schroeder.
No, no,
Schrader?
that's Wisconsin. Um,
Oh,
no, he's a black gentleman who's a judge. He's an
oh,
amazing
Simpson.
judge. Yes, Simpson. There you go, Judge
Yes.
Simpson. There is this case that he did where like some some kid like was on his way home from, like, I think he was in college and he was working and something, right? And he's on his way home. He accidentally kills somebody because he falls asleep because he's tired. And like the the case itself is terrible, right? Because you have this kid who didn't intentionally do anything. It was a complete accident. But yet
Yeah.
there's these people whose lives have been completely changed, and it was so hard to watch because like this kid, like, because it was
Yeah.
an accident, he is willing and he understands that he has to accept whatever responsibility it is that he's going to. And like
Yeah.
the part
Definitely.
that's amazing about this particular case is that like the family, the victim's family, they all were like, you know, there's already been lives ruined in this, and we don't want to ruin another life. And they made like a recommendation as to like, we think that it would be good if he goes and talks to, you know, young people about distracted driving and stuff, so maybe he can help prevent this happening to somebody else. And
Yeah.
I think that he ended up getting like 120 days or something in jail, and then he has like this long period of probation, obviously, and like
Well,
um
yeah.
and part of his probation is he has to do community service where he's going to go talk to young people about distracted driving and stuff to help prevent this happening to another family. It's just one of the most gracious things that like you can see from the victim side, but also like
Yeah.
the individual like accepting full responsibility for what they did. And they're like, I understand that like I'm going to have to go to jail, pay whatever I need to pay, like do whatever it is that I need to do. Like, but didn't you have these people who are completely delusional and think they're just gonna walk? Like it's like,
Well,
hey, it's fine.
even the Kim Potter case, I mean, I honestly think that she felt like she needed to do time because, I mean, I think the family was going up and going off on her for not looking at them during the trial. And then when she
Yeah.
got up, she said, I didn't feel like I was even worthy of looking at you. I took your, I mean, that's the part about, you know, a lot of these criminals. Because I think that we would be totally willing to extend judicial reform to people like this, to people that you understand the loss and the magnitude of what you've done,
Yeah.
but we're passing it around to people that are like, oh well, armed robbery with an Uzi, well, shucks, don't do it again, okay?
Yeah. Here's looking at you, Daryl Brooks.
Yeah, pretty much. We've taken away consequences for so much, and then people are utterly confused when they actually have to pay consequences. We we now have the children who got only participation trophies are having children. I
Yeah.
can't even imagine the level of anti-meritocracy that this is going to create.
It was the strangest thing. I actually I was around when that started, and I didn't understand it when it started. It's like,
To be
why are we
fair,
getting
as athletic as I am, those were the only ribbons I was ever going to get.
well, like the first time that I experienced it, we came like the team that I was on. We came in, I think it was fourth place for a lacrosse tournament, and they still gave us a trophy. And it's like, why were we getting a trophy? Like we didn't finish like in the top three, and they were just like, it's just the way that it is. And it's like, okay, but that doesn't make any sense. It's like only first, second, and third get trophies. Like that's how stuff just works in every sport. So
You would
it was
think.
very confusing when it first started. But
I'm waiting for the Olympic participation trophy.
I mean, that's a whole other.
Well, I mean, I think that Rachel Ray gun might be a shoo-in.
Oh, is that the break dancer?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, I didn't watch the Olympics. I haven't watched the Olympics in so long because they don't mean anything anymore.
No, but if you do watch them, okay, there's a clip of a guy doing a pole vault, and
I've heard this. I've heard
his
this.
his the only medal that matters knocked it off the.
Yes, I'm sure he
Okay,
was popular in the Olympic Village.
Vale, you know, we talked about occasions where one might want to, I don't know, gird their loins quite literally and specifically. You know, sports in which you should be aerodynamic, don't you think you would want to, I don't know, tame that puppy down with underpants? I mean, you're wearing effing spandex. Why are you free?
I mean,
floating in air.
as a male, I have been taught since I was very young, when you began participating in sports, that you need to protect the googlies. And so you do. I imagine that would extend to any sporting activity, especially if you're, chucking around a big, well, I shouldn't say that. That's terrible. That you're that you're running around with a
No,
big
continue.
pole.
Let it go through you.
Yeah, that like you should probably be protecting your old twig and berries there. And it's like, because the one time, Mo, I'm not kidding, the one time I didn't, I was catching in baseball. The one
Oh.
time I didn't do it, guess what happened? Yep. So,
Yeah, and that's never not funny. So just the entire stadium laughing at you. I'm very sorry, little Veilhammer.
yeah, I mean, thank God I was little. Like, it wasn't like, I mean, it still hurt, but it's like, yeah. It's just, I don't understand why you would not do that. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, well, you're running, and I mean, okay. As an uncoordinated person, this is probably, I would assume that maybe if you ran wrong, you'd get one of those stuck in between your legs and it's all over. So just,
that's that's
because
what I mean though. Like, whether it's like your shoes, or like, what if you fall and you drop that pole and you you end up with a dill pickle, a dill spear, I mean, like, there's all kinds of things that could go wrong. It's like, you should protect
yeah.
yourself. Like, I'm sure it's not comfortable, but it's like, I know it's not comfortable, but you know what? The old berries are.
You're wearing spandex. You are wearing a spandex unitard. None of that is comfortable. You are running on top of a large pole to try to throw yourself over a tall, football touchdown thing. None of this makes any goddamn sense. Wear a cup.
Yeah. What happens? I don't know what the poles are made out of, but what happens if you stick the pole in the little thing that like it catches to bend it?
Yeah.
What if that thing breaks and like hits you right in the right in the junk?
Crotchular region.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I don't understand curling either, but it doesn't seem like you can hurt yourself too bad with curling.
True. I mean, I'm all for, cleaning the ice. Curling, it took me a while, but I actually understand curling now. It's kind of funny.
Oh, no, I am like this. This is what happens when people don't have cable and there's, communism.
I mean, or you have an abundance of maple syrup and it's wintertime. One of the two.
True.
Because I believe that is a strong Canadian sport in the winter.
Oh.
Olympics is curling. But yeah.
I'm just making fun of Canada all over the place today. Justin Trudeau is like, she will never come here. And I was like, life a goal already achieved. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I don't understand that guy in the Olympics. I don't understand.
It was in Paris.
Find it hard to believe that no one would come forward until just 5-6 people down the road, right?
Yeah.
Of having knowledge of it.
Yeah, I hear you.
It's frightening that out of all the people.
Yeah, red filter. It is kind of frightening that, again, she confessed to multiple murders to like everyone and Leroy and Lassie. And they're all like, nah.
Yeah, it's like, no big deal. It's all good.
Yeah.
Yes, I was having the same thing.
Cool.
Yeah.
And did you live alone?
Yes, I did. Yes. Did you want someone to come with me or not?
Well, to be honest with you, as part of the investigation, there's already been a search warrant executed at your house.
Oh, so the search has already been.
No, Elizabeth, they generally don't take you on a search warrant walkthrough.
Yeah. It usually doesn't happen because it's funny because Chandler Halderson asked the same thing. He's like, do they need a warrant for that? When they were like, when they
Well,
pulled him in
y-
and they're like, yeah, they're looking, the cops went into my house or whatever. He's like, is there a search warrant? He's like, does there need to be? And he shut up real
okay.
quick and is like, yeah,
To be fair, she just wants to make sure that her 873 Hummels and 9,000 precious moments don't get moved out of her perfect alignment.
true. That is true. Well,
Because there are themes and seasons.
to be fair, I doubt that she was collecting my precious moments. She was probably collecting those creepy like American dolls or whatever it is that they have. They probably have a Canadian version. Uh,
Canadian dolls.
what is, like, because aren't they called like American Girl or something like those creepy
Yes.
dolls?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like they have Canadian Girl or whatever the northern border
Yeah.
version is.
Yes. I could see her more with troll
Yes,
dolls.
or My Little
Because she
Pony or
goes,
something.
yeah. Or those really creepy Amish dolls that don't have a face. I could see a bunch of faceless dolls, or those porcelain dolls that have like the one half like opened eye because the mechanism's all old.
Oh, that's just that's just nightmare fuel for me. Like creepy
Yeah,
dolls are just ugh.
yeah. Yeah, no. My
I'm
kids will be like,
good.
"Oh, look, there's a bunch of dolls," and I'm like, "No, no, those are haunted. I've seen Annabelle. Stop."
Yeah. Well, it was funny because like I seen Annabelle long after I thought dolls are creepy. It's the same thing with clowns. Like I don't like clowns at all.
Oh, so
I
Veilhammer, I didn't tell you the best compliment I've ever gotten my entire life this week. Um, so I spent forever in a hair salon to get uh, purple hair that turns into red. And my husband, I come home and he's like, "You look so awesome. You look great." Youngest, most feral was even able to get out, like, "Oh, you got your hair changed." My middle son, he's like, "You look like a clown." And then he quickly amends it, but a pretty clown.
because he was making some quick decision making process. Do I want to eat today? He's,
He genuinely meant it. He was like, "But you look very pretty as a clown." I was like,
that's funny.
"Children, if you ever feel too vain, just come to my house. My children will tell you exactly what they think about you, and then you'll never have to worry about self-esteem again."
Ugh,
And my husband was like, "I'm so sorry you said that." I was like, it's fine. He's a kid. I have funky colored hair. If
yeah,
I That would be like me expecting no one to notice. I'm in rural Indiana. It's not exactly, San Francisco. I'm sure
yeah,
some people look at my hair and immediately think, nope, that's fine. I
yeah.
don't care.
I I actually understand this because like the amount of young kids who were like, "How come you have no hair?" It's like, well, I shave it off, but if I did, I look like a creepy uncle that would like to, do things to you. Because that's kind of what it looks like. But it's like it just doesn't grow anymore. It's like it just it's like I can't do anything about it. I've just accepted the fact and just shave it all off.
No, no, I don't. So my kids are already planning which we have a north and a south part of the neighborhood, and they're like, "Yeah, we want to go to south because they have the big candy, and we want to hit this, and this house." And I was like, "Okay, how about you guys just work on doing your chores because you got 2 months?" And they're like, "No, we have to strategize." I was like, "Oh my god."
Oh my gosh, strategy for Halloween candy. That's hilarious.
Oh, so Jung, I will tell you, I told this to Nick, but my youngest, most feral I guess they didn't know that Nick would speak English. And I told him, I was like, no, he's from Sweden, but he speaks English and they call it American. Look, it's
I
just what
mean,
it
not
is.
wrong.
Well, with the Indiana Midwestern dialect, again, not wrong, no lies detected. So he goes off for a little bit because I was trying to explain to them while we were cleaning and all that other stuff. And mom was going a little crazy. Like, could you just clean the house so Nick doesn't think we belong on Hoarders? Like, could I just pretend that we have a nice house, once in a while when people are around? So he goes away and he comes back and he throws his iPad on my bed, kind of tosses it, and he's like, I tried to learn Swedish fish language, but that puppet sucks at learning you how to Swedish. Because he looked up the Swedish chef and he's like, he didn't even speak words. I don't even think he knows Swedish. It's a total jip, clickbait. And I'm just like,
God, kids are funny.
and then my other kids, because I showed them a picture, they're like, is he a wizard? Does he know magic? I was like, and then my youngest son, who's never not met like someone that he would instantly like to show all of his Roblox mechs, just like sat on the chair of this the arm of the chair that Nick was sitting on, and he's like, let me explain to you in grand detail, loudly and aggressively, all of my mechs.
That's funny. Kids are a
Oh,
trip.
and possibly the funniest thing, again, it would be youngest most feral. Nick stayed over the night, and both of my husband and I were trying to keep them kind of quiet because even though Nick says, hey, I can sleep through just about anything and that kind of thing, I was like, no, he's a guest and we're supposed to be, you know, being respectful to guests,
Yeah.
trying to teach them some modicum of, social behavior.
Yeah.
Well, Griffin, the youngest, most feral, when he was told to be quiet, went into stealth mode. But stealth mode included his own stealth theme music, which was da 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 da, and not in a quiet voice. So I didn't. So stealth.
Oh, that's funny.
Like, I'm sorry, Nick. As promised, we have space. We do not have peace and/or quiet.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So since all right, Mr. Moe and I are sleep divorced. He snores and I don't sleep well. So he gets to go upstairs and have a CPAP and, breathe through the night. And I get to have peace and quiet during my insomnia. And he doesn't have to listen to true crime throughout the night, which it just works for both of us. So I went up to Mr. Moe's room and Nick stayed in the master bedroom, which I've just kind of taken over. So I have a California king. So
Oh yeah.
no, I have the Camaro car from Little Tykes. I have the car bed.
Yeah.
It's red.
The Lightning McQueen from
Yes.
Cars. The Lightning McQueen
Yes.
bed. That's
Absolutely.
hilarious.
So it was really fun, but I did worry because I was like, okay, I am sorry. We are aggressively friendly. My kids don't know personal space, except for the teenagers who you will probably rarely see. So
Yeah.
there you go.
Eh.
Yes. Well, since Mr. Moe is roughly the same height as Nicholas, he's tall.
Yeah.
So
For us normal sized people, a king is fine.
well, that and now if you plug them in, there it's the adjustable bed frame, so you've got one side. So it's basically two XL
Oh
twins side by side, which
Yeah.
makes it even funner to try to put it on fitted sheets.
Yeah.
Fitted sheets are the devil, and I hate
I've
them.
I've always had questions about those. beds. Again, most of my questions are probably not appropriate. Um, but it's like I have lots of questions about the two-sided thing where they adjust and all that. It's like,
Oh,
cause yeah,
well, okay. Let's just say that the crack is not conducive to. You have to pick a side.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
There is no love on the border, if you catch my drift.
Yes, I'm
And
I'm
and
picking up what you're dropping.
and the Tempur-Pedic, it's more cardio because you don't get that bounce back.
I mean, there's all kinds of like there's the ones that like not only do they kick up on the back but they kick up on the feet, and it's like, does it have like turbo mode like on the bottom, so like you don't actually have to do any work, it just kind of does it for you? I have so
Not
many
in my
questions about these weird
not in
sleeping
my
contraptions.
experience, but I didn't get the best model, so I don't know. Maybe that's I got mine when I was pregnant with child number 5, so it's been about 10 years.
I mean, I I have a very nice king size bed it's quite comfortable, but I never could get behind the whole like split, like kick you up and all that kind of stuff. Like I've never understood that. So, but
Okay, when you are looking at potentially being pregnant for another 2 months and you're on your 5th kid, you will buy anything that looks somewhat comfortable, even to the tune of like 10K, because you sat down in the furniture store and you're like, I'll take this one. F it. I want to be done.
yeah, I to each their own. Like if they like it, then hey, like all for them. Like I have a Helix. It wasn't cheap by any means, but it's quite comfortable. It's like sleeping on a cloud. It's great, but it's
Yeah,
not
see,
so
and
soft that it's like it's
I
not
don't like the soft ones.
it's not that soft. Like it's
Giggity. That's what she said, and
yeah,
generally, yes.
yeah. It's like it's firm, but it's still really soft on top. So like it's really soft to lay on. But Jesus Christ, we need to move on to another topic.
Things you can say at both the Sleep Number bed store and other times.
We both are like 10-year-old children.
Pretty
We
much.
can't-
I mean, we didn't say anything about water beds, but there would be motion of the ocean.
True.
Now there's a bed you wouldn't have to work hard on. I'm just saying.
It's true, but you, Jesus.
It'd be like the tides, though.
But there's always a risk of getting wet.
Who
And is it
invented
cold or
water
is it
beds?
warm?
I
Like, what
don't
if the
know,
heater
but
breaks?
who invented water beds and how much LSD was involved?
I I have slept on a waterbed before. They're not comfortable. Um,
No, we can't. We're going to be excommunicated from churches we didn't even apply to. I'm gonna get visiting missionaries from the LDS church just to tell me, look, we have senior streams, and if you ever should think of converting, go to the Jehovah's Witnesses, okay?
yeah. Who, since they like soaking, might like waterbeds
Oh God.
because
Of
it
all
would
the
help.
things and you know what? I think I might open a waterbed emporium in Utah.
In Salt Lake. There
I'm
you
gonna
go.
make it
Exactly.
rain and bounce and motion.
Exactly. Be like, and your slogan can be like, all the soaking you need.
It technically isn't bouncing. It technically isn't bouncing.
Because you need an external force that does it for you.
Oh my gosh, that's it. Veilhammer, you and me, not intentionally Utah's first waterbed emporium.
Oh, God. It would.
The places that never want me to visit are just getting longer and longer.
Oh,
Utah's
dear.
like, oh my God, we have, Lori Vallow, but even that's bad. That's worse.
Yeah.
That's like the adult baby store that was going up in one of the very ritzy upper northern towns right outside Indianapolis. And people were like, an adult child store? Like they didn't quite get the concept. And since I have read the depths of smut that Kindle Unlimited can give you, I know what this means. And I am laughing my ever living tits off as they're doing a morning news announcement. Like, some people are a little confused about this adult baby store. It has onesies for adults and like large high chairs, diapering material for God knows what reason.
Yeah.
And they didn't quite understand what they were getting into until everyone who saw that, who has even existed 5 minutes on the internet, sent in a flurry of LOL comments. Like, oh my
Yeah.
God, it's a Smex thing, you guys. It's a Smex.
Yeah.
I think that store lost its license.
I would imagine that they did, yeah. That's a little surprising to me that somebody was trying to open up a storefront for that, because that's not something that's super common. Like that is kind
No.
of a niche kink.
Yeah, I wouldn't think you'd have enough like concentration to have a storefront. I mean, unless there's cross marketing with like furries, like Furry Friday.
I mean, yeah, that would be
Bondage Bump Day. I mean, just
that's a little hard to sell, adult baby kink store. That would be a little hard to sell, I think.
yeah, you'd think. I mean, you run through your 12 customers like opening day. I mean, unless you're giving out Groupons to really confused people.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, unless maybe you carry like discounted Pampers or something next to the adult ones or something. I don't know. I don't know how you would stay in business.
I don't know. The internet exists for a reason. We handle all these transactions without looking other people in the eye. Mostly
True.
because giggling. Come on,
Yeah.
we're in 2024. Let's all go to ordering things like this online where you never have to face another person.
Yeah. Yeah. But
I don't know what stage it's at because we've been conversing for quite some time.
Okay.
It's probably close to being completed,
Okay.
but I'm just asking because you've been so cooperative.
Yeah.
And again, I do appreciate that.
Yeah.
I really do. It just makes things a lot easier, right? Advising us where certain things might be, and you said you might have thrown them out.
Yeah.
You might not have.
I might not have kept them. And then at the very end of my coffee table, there's a box, and it's got pictures and a photo album in it. There might be something in there too.
What was it?
A Trinity writing pad.
And what types of things did you document?
Did you put them in your okay, what in the Stephanie Lazarus is going on here? You'll have to look in my pictures. Jesus.
yeah.
I confess to my pictures too. She's confessing to inanimate objects. No one told on me when I was, confessing to door.
Yeah.
Just what I had done, how bad I felt when it happened. Just trying to figure out what was going on in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Searching for answers.
Yeah.
But you're not sure if you have rid of those or not yet.
I thought I got rid of them all, but I don't know if I did for sure.
Okay, would there be anything else as far as computer documents or anything like that?
There would be I access the computer support group for borderline personality disorder. It would be on that. It would be on that website.
No, Elizabeth's like, look, I signed up to Better Health. I'm fine.
Yeah. It's like I signed up for a support group on Reddit. I'll be just okay. Like everything's fine. It's all good. I don't need
All
to
right.
go to jail.
We have been teasing this, but I think this person might have blocked out the fart for whatever reason. I can't imagine why you would do this. But here is the fart. Heard round world.
I'm sorry, I'm probably gonna pass gas with Mr. Lewis.
That's fine. Don't worry. So, as far as Mr. Silcox goes then, besides what you were feeling in your stomach,
He's continuing to inhale to talk. Sir, get out of there. Get out of there.
Besides the uncomfortableness in your stomach, it's like, sir, that has moved beyond the stomach.
That is just the first. That's the first salvo, sir. Get out of there. Get out. That is the Paul Revere fart. More are coming. More are coming.
It's the icebreaker.
These are these as the lawyer, not as the one.
I wasn't trying to snipe Baker, but I did promise a toot, and apparently he had cut the toot.
I think he cut it out.
I can't believe you would do that. I mean, how dare you, sir? I can't believe you did that.
Yeah, because I was like, I'm pretty sure it happened by now. And I looked at the video and like I think it's a Kleenex box. I think that's next to her purse. It's in a different position. So I think he did cut it out of here.
Why would you cut that part out? That was the only coherent statement she made.
It's hilarious because there's multiple channels with just that. With just the fart. It's like, yeah. Hey,
your digestive system knows you're guilty. It can comprehend that your brain is not going to get its ass out of this. So we would like to leave this building. If a body is a temple, we are leaving this temple. This one's done bad.
Yeah.
an open forum that you could join and,
Yeah.
and post comments. And
Yeah.
what website was that?
I couldn't tell you, but I could find it on my computer.
Okay. And would that be something that you'd be willing to share with us?
Of course.
Give us consent to
Yeah.
like those documents and computer websites and whatnot?
Yeah.
What's your tattoo mean?
Hopes and dreams.
Does that mean
That I have hopes for the future and dreams of the future.
yeah. What are your hopes for the future now?
Just like that tattoo artist that had to do it. They were hoping for a future away from you.
Yes. Oh, good Lord.
So, okay, Vale, would you consider that her? She's just built so funny. I can't even call that her chesticle region. I mean, it's more just like her.
It is, I believe that is technically an upper boob tattoo. Because it's not like on, it's not on the boob itself, but it's also not on like
Well, I
collar.
understand that if everything were sculpted in anatomical proportions, but why would you pick that particular spot?
I don't know. Like, I know some people pick, I don't want to say weird places for tattoos, but like some people decide to get their first tattoo on their head or their neck.
Now,
it's
Vale, I need to find the picture because I know somewhere teased a picture. But if you've ever seen Archer after Pam goes to Jamaica, we have an Elizabeth Wetlaufer post-Jamaican trip with like braids and beads in her hair.
No.
Yeah, let me see if I can find it. I might have to pull it from...
That's funny.
She has to have the like most ridiculous spelled name
Yes, wet
in human
farter.
history.
Wet farter. Oh,
No, I don't need video search. I never asked you for video search, Google.
good lord, no, we don't want to see what she did in Jamaica.
Yeah, let me see if I can find it because I know they have images where they tried to. Oh, I found it,
Oh
and
lord.
we have it. Let me pull it over here. Okie dokie. Just for all of you to get it to see what I have seen. You have not seen what I have seen. I have seen.
Oh my.
It is Pam from Archer Goes to Jamaica. And you can't unsee it now either.
I mean, I'm everybody can express themselves however they wish. I mean, that's pretty special. But
Do you
yeah.
think she has a loud enough rainbow on? Do you think also that's a two-piece? Just letting that. So she does have photos where she's somewhat dolled herself up. I mean, and the thing is, I would just, tag her as as a kindly woman, and never take I'm sorry, JKD Buck. I just thought if I had to suffer with the in real life Pam from Archer, you guys all had to too. But there you go. That is the end of that. It's like 20 more minutes of them just talking about, oh, I feel bad, and oh, do you want to talk about it? And it's it's almost too Canadian for me to deal with without utter rage, which is
Yeah.
probably an American thing.
Yeah.
We're like, what is all this peace and decorum? What trick are you trying to do? And they're like, we're just being rational adults. We don't trust that round here.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think the interrogation in full, because this guy definitely edited
Yes.
it out. Like the interrogation, I think in full, I think is like 3 or 4 hours long.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the lady in the interrogation.
Yes, she went on. So the story behind this is she met her girlfriend. This was shortly after she broke up with her husband, whom she met at a conversion camp. So a lesbian and a gay man got married because that'll cure everything, and then wondered why it didn't work out. So she meets this woman on the internet. They haven't really met in real life. They go on like a 2-week cruise to Jamaica together.
Yeah.
Who does that?
I don't know. What are the little houses in the back? Like the green, the pink, and the yellow. I'm studying the picture now.
It's a very colorful place.
Yeah.
As long as she didn't go to Hedonism Island. And on that thought, I'll leave you. Oh my God. Can you imagine if her and Ricada ran into each other? Okay, this is terrible. This is a whole nother segment. We will have to go to Rumble.
Have a good dinner, JKB fuck.
Thank you all for joining. I hope you have a wonderful, holiday extended weekend, and I will be probably doing a Sarah Boonathon at some point tomorrow. I am still working on editing. The Ballad of Man Bun is coming out. I spent 2 hours working on software and I had it edited, but now my computer is being dumb. So, and Mr. Mo says we can't just get a new one.
Yeah.
Or, find an intern somewhere that will work for Meatloaf. And I'm talking both the song and, actual meatloaf.
Never mind. Eject.
Have a wonderful day, guys.
See ya.
Because some people have to serve time, public service. I don't know.
It's his pendants. He probably got in trouble somehow, and like this is what he has to do to like not have his license taken away.
Look, they don't have ice hockey teams, so what are they going to do with their Gordon Bombays down in Florida? Well, if you're an attorney and you're driving drunk, you're going to have to represent Sarah Boone.
It's just part of the deal.
They're like, no, send me to inner city Brooklyn. I will teach kids how to do hockey.
Nope. Sarah Boone.
Bye, guys.